Hey everybody, can y'all hear me? I'm trying to pull up my camera. Give me a moment here. My camera is on. Oh, hello. The button right in front of me. How y'all doing this evening? Live from Q to Stage. Decided to come on here tonight. It's 8 p.m. Central Eastern Standard Time frame, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. In case you missed it, this morning, Attorney Benjamin Crump and his legal team finally revealed their own independent autopsy they had in Washington, D.C. And I actually posted a clip of that live stream on YouTube and also on Facebook Live. If you want to go back and watch the replay, you can. Now, the reason I wanted to come on here tonight is because I wanted to discuss my thoughts and share how it's looking right now as far as the new findings and all the new information that we were given. So I also wanted to see if any of you guys would like to join me tonight to have like a live Q&A discussion on my panel. If you would like to join, I posted in the comments the link to the live stream as well. So you should be able to see it. But if anyone has any questions, concerns, gripes, complaints, feel free to say it now or forever hold your peace. It's very unfortunate with the news that we received this morning. Like, I was very excited, but then I was kind of like, don't get your hopes up, because I knew that it was probably not going to be the answer that I was looking for. So basically, the overall result from their independent autopsy was classified as undetermined pending investigation. It's just another way of saying that we don't know. We don't know what happened. Now, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not pointing fingers at, Benjamin Crump, because him and Al Sharpton are really out there on the forefront, and they don't get enough credit that they deserve. And people, talk so bad about them, like they're not doing well, they're not doing their job because they're not seeing results. And I know everybody wants to see results. I know everybody wants to see justice, but you have to think the times that we are in right now, the climate of Mississippi, it doesn't surprise me. I hate to say it, but Mississippi, on another hand, has not released their official autopsy still. And we are now about 20 some days in, at least. Let's see, the 4th was when he disappeared. They found him on the 6th. So it's been about almost 2 weeks, damn near 3 weeks, since Mississippi has not released their findings or their autopsy, which is crazy to me. I don't understand why they have to make it so difficult for the people to find answers, to demand justice. I don't get it. You know, it really sucks right now. And I don't like the way that some of these, you know, social media and all these, media outlets are using this as a clickbait worthy conversation by saying, oh, they're puppets. They just want money, blah, blah, blah. I've had so many people say so many cruel things, about being Crump and his team. And it's so sad, because I'm just like, y'all are not on the front lines. Y'all don't see what's happening behind the scenes. You don't understand the timing and everything that's included in this investigation that goes on. The thing that people understand is that it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. We know that we're going to take some time to really find answers because people don't want to cooperate. It's plain and simple. Nobody wants to come forward. Nobody wants to be a snitch or the assistant pimp, whatever you want to call it, down there in Mississippi. But here's my thing. Why won't anybody step forward? Why is everybody so scary to talk? Y'all ain't too scary to talk to TMZ. You're damn sure ain't too scary to talk to CNN. I clearly see that. There have been so many randoms just running their mouth and bumping their gums about their 2 cents on the whole Nolan Wells thing, and yet none of them, and absolutely none of them, have come forward to Benjamin Crump. None of them. And the thing that got me the most were the details of the findings. If y'all have not watched the live stream, I suggest you go back and watch it to its entirety. But I will tell you this, fair warning, is highly sensitive, maybe triggering for some people to handle the truth and what's happening with the findings. Benjamin Crump stated, according to the medical examiner, the chief medical examiner that conducted the independent autopsy, that in their findings, it was ruled inconclusive. They did not rule out that he drowned. They did not rule out that there was a body of water around him. The last time they checked, they said a representative from the United Cajun Navy explained that he was fully clothed when he found Nolan's body on, the beach or the island or whatever. And another thing that people are not discussing, what really, really bothers me, is how come ain't nobody knocking down that chief medical examiner's door down there in Mississippi? That Stacy person, whatever her name is, I don't know her last name, but all I know is that y'all need to start beating down doors down there in Mississippi. Y'all need to ask and demand for answers. Y'all are not doing enough. Protesting and marching and pumping fists in the air is not enough. Obviously, y'all need to hold town hall meetings. Y'all need to do something because this is ridiculous. Like, it takes all of this for a person of color, especially, Black people and even brown people too, just to get some answers. Like, it shouldn't have to be this far to the point where you have to constantly pop up on TV, pop up on live streams, share your 2 cents. And I was shocked, to be honest. I did not expect Benjamin Crump to talk so soon with their findings. I was thinking that they were going to wait. And that's another thing that kind of low-key ticked me off. Why did they wait on Mississippi? Well, it appears like there's no transparency, as you could tell. Because if there was real transparency between both parties, as far as like what's happening, what's going on behind the scenes, they would have came forward a long time ago. But we clearly see the corruption. We clearly see that nobody can be trusted down there in Mississippi. And everybody is looking like public enemy number one, from the sheriff to the chief medical examiner to the coroner's office. I don't even trust that dude. I really don't. But really, really, what really boiled my blood was the disturbing details when they mentioned that when they received Nolan's body in Washington, D.C., they got it around July, I think they said the 19th or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me. Somewhere around there. Um, and they stated that when they received the body, it was so badly decomposed to the point where they couldn't tell whether or not he actually drowned or if he was actually forced into the water. That's the worst part of it all. If you have not been, unalived for more than, I want to say, like, what, 4 or 5 days when he went missing, he shouldn't have been that badly decomposed. They said that the body was in horrible condition when they received it. There were body parts missing. He explained that his organs were all gone. But the chief medical examiner at a DC that did the independent autopsy stated that that's a very normal procedure to show that whoever did the previous autopsy was following the procedure. But here's my thing, what I don't like is the part where he said that not only were his organs missing, but his throat was missing. Like, bits and pieces of him were missing that were very critical to this case. Parts of his brain was missing. And then the biggest highlight of this whole entire autopsy finding was when they mentioned that in the back of Nolan's head, there was a red, inflamed tissue that they noticed, as if someone had blunt force trauma to his head. That's a very significant factor. And they don't know the timeline when he actually died, unfortunately. They don't know the timeline of how long he was actually out at Horn Island, as far as, being discovered on, the beach or whatever. But there's a lot of unanswered questions still, even with all of this stuff, even with all the people involved. Now, I said, if they don't know the actual timelines because of how bad of the condition that the body was in, and they don't even know the actual cause of death, it really disturbs. It really disturbed my soul. It really did, because I'm just like, come on, we need something. We need something at this point. This don't make no sense. This is unreal. It's just so unreal of all the hoops we have to jump as a people. And when I say as a people, I'm talking about us, Black people. It doesn't make any damn sense where we have to look up to somebody and, that's all we got is literally them two on the forefront, Ben Crump and Al Sharpton. And I don't see, again, nobody else at the forefront trying to do something about it. I don't see nobody else calling on names of all those people down there that were involved with the whole investigation. I don't see nobody calling out the sheriff. I don't see nobody calling out that chief medical examiner with her scamming ass. I found out that she had a bad reputation because a lot of podcasters that I've been seeing lately have been saying the same thing. They had a lot of cases of hers that were deemed as suicides of Black people, were probably lynched. Let's just call a lynching what it is. And all of them were unresolved. They were like unresolved unalivings, unfortunately, that she's had. A lot of the cases that she's had that pertains specifically to Black people were the same results over and over. Like no, there was no justice. There was no suspects. Nobody deemed nothing as a homicide. They just brushed it under the rug. And what I'm afraid of now that we have the independent autopsy is that Mississippi is going to sit quiet like cowards, and they're still going to, play like, oh, there was no foul play, blah, blah, blah. This was an accidental drowning, blah, blah, blah. And then they're going to spin the narrative when they present their evidence to the grand jury versus Benjamin Crump's evidence to the grand jury. But the biggest takeaway from all of this, besides of all the key factors that we know with the missing organs and all that good stuff, is are they going to allow Ben Crump's independent autopsy expert, the chief medical examiner that did it, the Washington, D.C. one, be a part of the grand jury? That's the biggest question you need to answer. Because if they don't allow that examiner to be a part of that grand jury, then it's a wrap. I hate to say it, because I feel in my eyes, the way it's going to play out, Mississippi is going to drop the ball and say, well, due to delays, blah, 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 we found that everything was inconclusive. Therefore, this is ruled as a drowning. And then they're going to say, well, there's not enough evidence to present any wrong play or wrongdoing or foul play. That's what they're going to do. They're going to play dumb and act like there wasn't 300 or 400 people on Horn Island the day that he was there. And they're going to act like they don't know nothing about them GPS navigation readings off of all those boats involved. Apparently, there was more than one boat that may have been involved in this whole incident. And then they're also going to play dumb like they don't know who all the suspects or the questionable persons of interest, whatever you want to call it, who may be potential suspects with this whole incident. That's what really pisses me off, is why aren't they talking to all the people who are actually there at Horn Island? Why aren't they bringing, proof of videotape evidence from people's cell phones? Because I'm pretty sure everybody was out there Snapchatting and live streaming that day. I mean, you gotta think, it's the 4th of July. You got all these young kids out here running around. They constantly on their phones. And you mean to tell me not one of them ain't seen nothing? And y'all ain't gonna release nothing to the public on top of that? Y'all want to hide shit and fold it over like nothing existed, like nothing happened? Like, come on. And I don't understand for the life of me, why isn't anybody investigating the officials down there in Mississippi? Why isn't anybody shedding light on the corruption down there? I don't get it. I'm telling you, Mississippi's still burning. It's just like the movie Mississippi Burning. Mississippi's still burning. Very, very well. And rumors are, don't know if this is true, but it is alleged that there may have been a possible Klan ritual as well involved in this whole incident. A lot of people in the South specifically have rituals affiliated with the KKK, the Klan, Ku Klux Klan. And what they won't tell you is that these are done in secret. And some of the people that are affiliated with the Klan are most likely your politicians, your law enforcement officials, your judges, your lawyers, and possibly even a damn district attorney. You know what I feel like? I feel like everyone is undercover Klan. That's how I feel. I feel like from the way it's looking like everyone's guilty and no one can be trusted. And it also feels like, how could I say this? Everybody's a fraud at this point. Everyone's a damn fraud, except for, again, with the exception of Ben Crump and Al Sharpton, actually at the forefront. And salute to Tyler Perry. He don't even get enough recognition that he deserves. People make fun of that man so much because he played Medea. But Tyler Perry has done so much during this case, besides covering the funeral expenses and also putting up his own money to donate for any information that anyone may have regarding the Nolan Wells incident. Um, Newsflash, if you have not heard, that the award money that Reverend Al Sharpton, Attorney Benjamin Crump, and Tyler Perry, along with Terrell Owens, the NFL star, now it's at 125,000 for anyone that may know any information. At first, it was 50,000 from Al Sharpton. Then Tyler Perry matched it during the funeral service when it was live and said he was going to donate another 50,000, which came to 100 originally. Then Terrell Owens, the football star, donated 25,000. So now it's at 125,000. So even with all of that, you mean to tell me don't nobody want to talk? Don't nobody want to get paid for information? I'm talking. That's a lot of money for Mississippi. You got to think of the demographics down there. You got a lot of poverty. You got a lot of poor folk in the country that ain't got no running water, no running sewer, nothing. And you mean to tell me that none of them don't want to talk for that type of money? Child, I'd be singing like a Tweety bird if that was me down there. If I was down there and I was over there on that island, I'd be singing for 125,000. You damn right. But I guarantee you, with the way that everyone's talking online on social media, on these TikTok panels, I keep seeing and stuff, and these Instagram panels, social media is gonna figure it out before they even figure it out. I guarantee you, these damn gnats is getting on my nerves. Oh my God. I don't know where they coming from. Now they want to bother me in the middle of my live stream. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm getting attacked by gnats in my own home. I'm about to turn on this fan. I don't know where they be coming from. I got to spray over here or something. Give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. I'm tired of getting attacked. It wasn't bothering me all day. They want to come fuck up the live stream. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Trying to get rid of the pesters that's pissing me off. I don't know where did he coming from. Trying to get rid of them little by little. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. These gnats is getting on my nerves. Keep swarming me in here in my living room. But anyway, like I said, you mean to tell me that absolutely nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to talk? Nobody wants to talk for that type of money. It's really sad when you're literally on the forefront begging for the public to help out with information. It's really sad that you have to literally offer money to squeeze an ounce of information. But even with all of this, people are still not talking. Either they too scary to talk, or they just don't want to be a snitch, one of the two. Or some of them just don't flat out care. I'm gonna be honest, some of them just don't care because, with the racism, epidemic down there and stuff. It doesn't surprise me that no one's coming forward, but I just hope and pray that with everything going on, something sheds light somewhere. Something comes out of this because it's just really mind boggling how they still don't have a clue or an answer for the public. And I really feel sorry for the parents. I cannot express enough how bad I feel for them, laying their only son to rest. And then on top of all of this, can you imagine getting all the hate mail? They actually got hate mail sent to their residence, I found out, from random, trolls, I guess, or racists, and they sent like pictures of the parents on a press conference with Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton with dollar signs scribbled next to their faces. It was just disgusting. And I said, now why would you take the time to send unmarked mail, hate mail, basically, to grieving parents who literally just laid their child in the ground? Like, you are an evil, horrible human being to do that to somebody that just lost their only son. And the thing I don't like either is how people are criticizing the parents and how they should be handling their parenting, or how they should have scolded Nolan and he should have known better and blah, 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 because he's black in rural Mississippi. Here's the thing: unless you're in their shoes, unless you know how it feels to lose a loss of a child, I you should just keep your mouth shut. Just leave them alone. You know, I just wish people would just leave people alone, especially in a time of grief and loss. You know, it's very unfortunate that you still have people dehumanizing other people for something they had no control over, obviously. You know, it's like, it's like, what do you say to that? You know what I mean? Like, it leaves me speechless, the way that people reacted to his parents and the way that people criticize the mother, especially calling her a narcissist, calling her all types of names, saying she wants clout and clickbait and she just wants to be all up in the media. It's sickening. Don't know her from Adam. I did a little digging on her, found out she's a nurse practitioner down there. She even said it in the press conference. Someone accused her of being racist. First of all, how is she racist when she's black her damn self and half Filipino? And all she's asking for is the public to come out with any information. How is that being racist? Let's get that out the wind. I find that quite alarming, how people say that she's racist, but she's a grieving mother who lost her son. But people are looking at her like, oh, she just wants attention. Where you needed to direct your anger to is not the parents, it's not criticizing them, their parenting, and all their other stuff. What you need to do is criticize the people who are in charge of this investigation that ain't doing nothing, that ain't doing no talking, that ain't presenting no evidence. That's who you need to criticize, if anyone. Those are the people you need to be angry, not Nolan's parents. No one should be angry at the parents. Um, and another honorary mention, almost forgot to mention, is you also need to be angry at some of our own people. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about the so-called best friend of the mother, Tashima. Her name is Tashima Williams, if I'm not mistaken. And her son Javon, who keeps running his mouth and bumping his gums with his country self on TMZ and CNN and changing stories and shit and putting out false narratives. That's the people you need to be angry at about. I shared a clip. I dropped a clip on here with the whole CNN aftermath that they failed to show y'all. I had to find it on TikTok and grab it because CNN was too chicken shit to post it. And Laura Coates, the black journalist that did that so-called panel interview on CNN with Javon and his mama and Nolan Wells, his mother, and Benjamin Crump, she need to be fired. She's part of the foolery too, cooning. Yeah, she a coon, I said it. Because how are you going to sit up here and post only one clip from that bullshit panel discussion that you had with that boy Javon and his mama, and we can all clearly see in the original clip that she failed to drop, that ended up being leaked on TikTok, was showing the mother Tashima nudging the son Javon, sticking to the script. Don't say no more than what you know, pretty much. And when they caught it and they peeped game of what was happening, they decided to point their own narrative and spin Javon in a positive light by dropping a clip of him and asking him, what do you remember best about your best friend and what do you miss about him? No, 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 no. Don't paint him as he's an angel. He is not an angel. He is far from an angel. I don't know him from Adam, but what I can tell are telltale signs, a deviant behavior. And I can tell with the emotional cues that he was given during that interview, and also the one with TMZ looking around, trying to figure out what he's going to say, getting his words together. It wasn't looking good for him. He had no emotion. He didn't even appear sad. That was a really messed up part. And even his mother, horrible, horrible body language. You know how you can tell when somebody's just lying. They swaying back and forth, looking all over the place, looking down and stuttering and trying to figure out what they're gonna say. Just lies. I can easily tell, if you're really full of it or if you're really telling the truth. And clearly they were full of it. If I were the mother, as far as I'm referring to Nolan Wells, if I were her, Christine, I wouldn't mess with that lady or the son or nobody else around you. I wouldn't talk to none of them if I were you. And for the record, I would block everybody that was associated with Nolan too. I would block every single number, every single email because I don't trust nobody. I'm sorry, I don't. Black or white or orange, yellow or purple, I don't give a damn. I don't trust none of them. They're all full of shit, all of them. Because this is my thing. If anybody, and I mean anybody, who was a really true friend of Nolan's, wouldn't be out here playing karaoke with different media outlets for attention and clickbait and views. Now, when I saw the funeral live stream, I'm pretty sure many of you seen the live stream as well. The people that showed up that I saw on the camera definitely weren't the white boys. No. And then also, I saw that there was a bunch of black boys from his football team, his teammates from Southwest Mississippi Community College. They showed up in support of the family and sending their condolences and stuff. I thought that was nice. But outside of his teammates and outside of the other group of black friends, I would probably say that they're probably his ride or dies. They're probably his main boom coons that were there for him since day one. Other than the football teammates, I wouldn't trust nobody else. Honestly, I wouldn't trust. What is that noise? I hear something squeaking. Is that the fan? I like the fan squeaking. Something is squeaking. I'm tripping right now. But anyway, I wouldn't trust nobody outside of them teammates. I would probably say the brothers that showed up at the funeral are probably the only ones who were really part of his friend circle, and then maybe a couple of other ones. But at this point, all the other randoms, the randos is what I call it, of Mississippi that keep coming up on TikTok panels late at night saying they 2 cents and stuff, none of them have been interrogated. None of them have been provided any type of testimony, statements to the police. None of them. All these people are willy-nilly running their mouths, bumping their gums, but ain't none of them released a statement or testimony to the police. And that's why I said nobody can be trusted at this point. I don't trust nobody in that damn town. As small as that town is, everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows what the hell happened. You can't tell me otherwise. And I'm going to tell you another big one who I believe was definitely involved in this mess was that judge. That Ashley Cole, the first woman to run her mouth on Facebook, talking about, oh, her son wasn't involved and all this extra nonsense crap, and saying that, Nolan wanted to stay behind. She started that narrative. It was that whack ass judge down there. She's the stepmother of one of the white boys that was on the boat. But yeah, she's definitely a part of that scheme. It's just one big cover up, to be honest. I'm surprised none of y'all have any questions. None of y'all want to talk and join the conversation. I feel like I'm talking to myself. We've been on 36 minutes and nobody wants to join me and talk about it. I'm pretty sure that some of y'all have questions. Y'all want to talk about it. I mean, this is the whole point of a panel. I'm trying to engage with y'all. We are 3,000 strong on YouTube and almost 300 strong on Facebook and 600 now strong on Instagram. Another church announcement. We have officially reached approximately 650 followers on Instagram. Almost 700 followers. I appreciate y'all. Actually, no, 616 followers. Correction. I have the numbers wrong. Anyway, not here to promote my channel, but I just felt I wanted to add my little 2 cents since ain't nobody talking or want to join the conversation, which I'm surprised. I'm gonna keep talking though. It don't hurt my feelings. Yeah, they don't hurt my feelings at all, even though thousands of you watch my clips every single day. And I appreciate y'all. I really do from the bottom of my heart. I just wish that some of y'all would engage with me more. It really kind of hurts my feelings, low key. How I come on here live. I tell you when I'm coming on. It's not like I randomly pop on here every day. It's very rare that I come on here live when I want to discuss certain topics. And then y'all still don't want to come up. Are y'all afraid to talk? Are y'all afraid of criticism? Like, what is it? Do I intimidate y'all? I want to know for my own sanity, because I feel like I intimidate some people, or some people camera shy. You ain't gotta be on camera. Just like letting you know, you ain't gotta show your face. If you want to talk, you can talk. You can type in the comments. If you don't want to come on the video, that's fine. But engage, join the conversation. Don't be afraid to talk. That's all I'm saying. You know, it's almost 9 o'clock over here. I'm not gonna be on here all night long either. I'm just letting you know that I just want to come on here and try to hold a panel discussion. But it seems like nobody wants to discuss anything for some odd reason. Disappointed in y'all. I really am disappointed in y'all. I really had hope that we could actually hold a discussion, because I've always wanted to engage with all of you, to get your point of view, to really gauge your perspective on this whole case and highlight, what your thoughts are, your views are, your expressions are, your opinions and stuff like that. I really am curious, but no, nobody wants to talk to me. I'm still talking to myself. That's okay. That's cool. We'll keep it phony baloney and keep showing silly videos as usual, because everybody wants to be in La La Land. Nobody wants to talk about reality, and that's fine. Whatever floats your boat. Don't hurt my feelings. I'm just saying that the one time I want to have a really meaningful conversation relating to justice and stuff that I really care about, as you can tell, nobody wants to talk. But y'all show was blowing up me in the comments, especially about that old damn dog video that I put on there. Oh, y'all was hot. I've had so many hate, so many trolls. Boy, they was mad at me. They was hot. They was like, she's a dog lover. Those are her babies. Those are her babies. They're not musty. Somebody was in the comments talking about they're not musty. Those are her babies. That's her family. I just made a funny video, okay? All I did was put some commentary on there and people got mad. It's like no matter what I do, I cannot aim to please all of you. That's all I'm saying. I can only do so much. But what I can do is come on here randomly, share the knowledge, share the wealth, give my perspective, share my 2 cents on what's going on, because I feel like it's very important that some of y'all should know what's going on. I know some of y'all may not care, but if it happened to you, it happened to one of your family members or one of your friends, I think you would want someone else to care, now would you? You didn't think about them apples, did you? No. So all I'm saying is to say this. If you see something, say something. We always have that saying in school, if you see something, say something. But no, everybody saw. Nobody wants to say. That's this harsh reality of the climate that we're in. Nobody wants to talk. Nobody wants to cooperate. sad. It's very sad. Um, it just really, really boils my blood that nothing is being done. It feels like we are at a standstill, to be honest. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I feel like now, with all the results and the findings and stuff, we have to look at the grand jury now. We ain't got no choice. It's up to the grand jury to decide whether or not they're going to even have a case. If they don't name any suspects down there who may potentially be involved, and they don't have any real forensic evidence of anything of any kind, they're going to toss us out. I have a bad feeling they're going to toss us out. Unless somebody comes forward with something, they're going to toss this mess out. And my other question is, what the hell are the feds doing? What is the FBI doing? I ain't heard a peep from their ass either. I feel like everybody that say they involved, the DOJ and all these other, agencies that are so-called involved in this case, they're all on some bullshit. All of them. I don't I don't feel like we're ever gonna get any type of momentum. I feel like they're gonna brush us to the side now that the funeral has passed, now that this press conference has passed with their autopsy. They're going to try to let this die down. They're going to try to sweep it under the rug. And until people stop talking about it, they're not going to care. But the more fire and the more fuel that you add to that fire, then you might get some answers. But y'all not adding enough fire. Y'all not adding enough fuel. Y'all not doing enough. Y'all not doing enough. See, the problem down there is that people won't scream to the mountaintops when they see something that's wrong. But when they see some silly shit like this stupid ass streamer university I keep seeing, no offense to all the Twitchers, the Twitch streamers. I don't care about Twitch. Don't care to be on there because everybody wants $1. Everybody trying to get paid. It's pointless. I don't understand the purpose of it. Everybody wants to talk about the streamer university, and everybody wants to talk about, all their favorite basketball players, football players, baseball players, and all this other extra stuff in the entertainment business. But what you don't understand is that there's a bigger issue going on in the world that nobody wants to address, nobody wants to talk about, nobody wants to get answers on. But y'all want to talk about silly shit like Streamer University and Magic City and all these other stupid podcasts I keep seeing about entertainment. Entertainment is fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy the entertainment business. I enjoy looking and laughing at people's videos late night and scrolling on TikTok and even sometimes on YouTube. But when I see something like this that nobody is trying to shed light on or bring to the forefront, it really bothers me. I cannot sit here and ignore it when it's constantly being put out to the forefront of the media and the internet and all these other places, the press conferences. I'm just not going to ignore it. Sorry, but not sorry to burst your bubble. But sometimes, even I, as happy and bubbly as I can be, it really angers me. I can be angry too. Don't get it twisted. I'm a Scorpio, okay? November 1. Just remember that, November the 1st. But it just really makes me sad that nobody is talking. And it really makes me sad that there is no real evidence. Where is the evidence? Where are the people involved? Where are they at? We're not getting nothing from nobody. At this point, the only people I can think of that might be able to bust open this case wide the hell open is people outside of our jurisdiction. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about people like United Nations, UN, or the people like Interpol at this point. We might as well look at them for help. Because they can get assassins all day, every day, and all these dangerous people off the streets and gangbangers and stuff. But then y'all can't find murderers in Podunk, rural Mississippi, because nobody wants to talk. and everybody wants to play dumb like they don't know nothing, but everybody knows what's up. Everybody knows something. They just don't want to talk. Too chicken to come out with the truth. But y'all want to keep dancing on TikTok and twerking and shaking your ass and trying to make $1 out of 15 cents and trying to get monetized, but then you don't want to talk about what's really going on out here. And I'm not blaming none of y'all for it. You shouldn't feel guilty at all. All I'm saying is that sometimes you have to take a step back from stuff that's really not important and look at what's really important in front of you. That's all I'm saying. And maybe, just maybe, if you just share the knowledge, you share the video and tell your other people, tell your followers, tell your friends, tell your family members, hell, just maybe we can all make a difference if we just stick together. But see, some of our brothers and sisters don't want to stick together until money is involved. When money is involved, now we want to stick together. Now we want to jump up to the forefront and act like we care. We want to pump our fists in the air and go protest and scream, "We shall overcome." But when it's not them and it don't have nothing to do with them, they don't care. If it ain't got nothing to do with money, they don't care. If it ain't a brand deal, they don't care. Unfortunately, this is the sad reality of social media. Social media was built to glamorize your favorite celebrities, your favorite TV shows, favorite movies, keep you stuck in the matrix, MK Ultra. Pretty much is what this is. And not on the forefront of what's really happening. And on top of all of this, I found out that there was another lynching. A young brother. His name was Tyler something. Benjamin Crump mentioned it in the live stream. If you go on the live stream, he says all the names. He named off Trayvon Martin, Atiana Jefferson, Ahmaud Arbery, all the people in the past who were unalived, that were black. Sandra Bland. The list goes on. Michael Brown. Very, very sad. Very, very unfortunate. I believe that Trey guy that he mentioned, not Trey, but Tyler, the Tyler guy that he mentioned, I think he was from Mississippi too, if I'm not mistaken. But the history of that town, or that state rather, Mississippi itself, speaks volumes. You know, we hear what 50, 60, 70 years plus later since Emmett Till and Medgar Evers and all them, were unalived in Mississippi, and yet it's a vicious cycle, like deja vu. And to be honest, I don't know if y'all seen that picture that's been circling social media, but there's a comparison of Nolan Wells' parents and Emmett Till's parents, Mamie Till and her husband. I forgot her husband's name, but Mamie Till looks very similar to Christine Wansley, Nolan Wells' mother. They have very striking resemblances. They really do. They really favor each other. And I was just like, oh, that's eerie how they look so much alike. They look so much alike. But yeah, it also reminds me of, what's his name? James Byrd Jr. Oh God, that brought back memories when somebody mentioned that on, I think I seen on Instagram earlier today. So if you don't know the history or the story behind James Byrd Jr., he was a older black guy. I don't know how old he was at the time of his death, but he was in East Texas, in a town called Jasper, Texas. And I'm from there, so I can tell you all about it. I'm not from Jasper, but I'm from Texas is what I meant. Born and raised. Small town, Central Texas, middle of nowhere. And Jasper, if you ever hear anything about that town, or places like Huntsville or Vidor, racist, racist, racist. Oh my God. I cannot tell you the stories I've heard about towns like Jasper and towns like Vidor. There are places till this day in 2026 where black folks cannot go in Texas. People just don't realize it. And I tell people to be very cautious, especially going in East Texas. The minute you hit the border of East Texas and the minute you go in South Texas, when you pass up Houston and Beaumont, that's when you start getting in Klan territory. You have to be very careful. You know, it don't matter how tough you are. It don't matter how many people you have with you. They are they gonna test you. They're gonna intimidate you, and they're gonna make sure that they know that you are an N word. They're gonna make sure you know that. Oh yes, they will say it to you. But anyway, the story behind James Byrd was that he was, I think he was asking for a ride home or something. I'm not sure if he asked for a ride home or some of the white guys that he met at a bar or somewhere offered him a ride home. Ended up being part of the Klan, apparently, down there in East Texas. And what ended up happening is that what he thought was going to be a peaceful ride home, they pretty much tied him up, hog tied him, put a chain around his legs, strapped him to the back of a pickup truck, and drug his body miles down the road until he died. And it was very sad, very tragic. I think I was a kid at that time. I was like maybe, I want to say 13, maybe 14, 15, somewhere around there. This happened like back in the late 90s. It's like 1998. And the three white men involved, they all got prosecuted. Nobody, got off or whatever. Two of them were actually sentenced to death row. They were executed by the state. The other one is actually still alive, surprisingly, and serving life in prison right now. But yeah, it was very, very, very sad. Very unfortunate. But yeah, they were all nice to him. He was thinking that he met a group of nice, guys in the little sports bar like anybody would. You casually strike up a conversation not knowing that they were going to harm him. Ended up killing that man. But, yeah. It brought back so many flashbacks of so much wrongdoing, especially the Sandra Bland one. That was, oh God. That one really pissed me off because I was so mad at all the details in that case. How they say she hung herself in a jail cell, which I know is a damn lie. Nobody had any type of proof or evidence that she was suicidal. They found a fake ass suicide note that somebody wrote up and planned her lynching. They literally lynched her in a jail cell. And somebody else happened to be in a cell, I think, next to her, and she was alone, and they found her the next day. And there was no type of camera activity in her cell or nothing. Come on. It's complete bullshit. Complete bullshit. And then the cop that arrested her, that landed her in jail to her untimely demise, he ended up resigning, and he actually moved away from that town right after it happened. Just pissed me all the way off. But yeah, that case really boiled my blood. And then the other case with Trayvon Martin, no justice whatsoever. Let George Zimmerman off, talking about stand your ground, blah, blah, blah. Florida is crazy. Florida is one of them goofy states where you got all types of weirdos and stragglers and murderers, and they just get off scot-free every day. I don't understand it. I will never understand the system down there. I don't understand how people can just blatantly shoot somebody and say they're afraid and they were in fear and then get off. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And then I actually found out my home state, Texas, is actually a stand your ground law as well. But yeah, it's too much for my taste. It really is. But yeah, very unfortunate. The times that we live in, it's just really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. But I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream once yet again. I tried. I failed. Y'all never came. Y'all didn't join. I tried to get y'all engaged, but nobody wanted to talk. That's okay. But I appreciate y'all for clicking on the video, jumping in and jumping out. I appreciate y'all. If you like, share, subscribe, replay this video as much as you like, share with your friends, share with your family. I don't care. But I will leave you with this. What's done in the dark shall come to the light. And best believe anybody, and I mean anybody, that was involved in Nolan Wells' tragic death, they will reap what they sow. Karma's gonna get them. God gonna get them. God is definitely gonna get them. They may not get them now, but they definitely gonna get them sooner than later. Best believe. But hopefully, all we can do is pray on it and hope that we have a better outcome with this grand jury approaching. The thing, and that's another thing about the grand jury. Um, no one has said anything about the evidence being presented. No one has said nothing about the raggedy DA down there, the district attorney. That's another person y'all need to look at. Why isn't that district attorney saying anything? I haven't heard not one peep from the DA. Ben Crump and them keep saying that they in talks with the DA. They sat down with them side by side. They're going to go through the phone evidence. They ain't saying nothing about that shit either. That's another thing that bothers me the most about all of this. Where is the side by side evidence that you say that you're going to present us? Where is the side by side shit? Where are the results? We're not getting transparency on that shit either. I don't know if they actually did it or they're planning to do a side by side like they said they were last week or during the funeral. They said it during the funeral. They're going to do a follow up with the DA with the phone evidence, but ain't nobody talking about that part. Ain't nobody saying nothing. That's the most crucial piece of this whole investigation is the phone evidence. Who had access to Nolan's phone? Who deleted his text messages? Who deleted his Snapchat? Who deleted his social media? Those are the questions you need to get answers to as well. Who had cameras at that so-called pool party that Nolan was at? Where are the Ring cameras? I'm pretty sure that with all the technology we have in America, everybody's got a camera inside their home or outside their doorbell. I'm pretty sure there's some type of footage somewhere. All we keep getting is this still image of the pool party. We ain't getting no videos of the pool party, nothing. All we have is a still image. All I can say is no justice, no peace. This too shall pass. That's all I got to say. But it is 9 o'clock, y'all. Like I said, I'm not going to be on here long. I was only going to spend about 30 minutes to like an hour with y'all. And I tried. Again, I tried to hold a panel. I gave y'all the stage and nobody came. So until y'all want to talk, I probably won't be live for a minute. I'll probably disappear in the shadows and probably come back on here. I don't know. Whenever y'all feel like talking. But yeah, I'm going to go now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this live stream. If you have questions, feel free to comment below. If you have any suggestions or, what your perspectives are on this whole case, feel free. That's what freedom of speech is for. You have that right. You have that privilege. All I ask is that y'all be respectful if we ever do have a panel, if we ever do have a discussion. That's all I ask. Be respectful of others, be mindful of the situation, and share your 2 cents. But I'm going to go. Y'all have a good night. Peace.